They see me rolling.
So, oh man, that's annoying. Once again, the proportions have changed slightly, which is always irritating. Anyway, so while I'm adjusting this, we are starting out within the Forge of Fury. Vic is already, like, engrossed in the 12 things that she just found wrong after she fixed the 5 things that she had seen before. And, like, she looks absolutely enthralled. This is clearly it looks like a magnum opus, essentially. This is a person who is doing what she does best, and she barely registers anything anybody is saying to her. At this point, she is so focused on her work that she may as well be treated as unconscious.
Speaking of unconscious, do Echo and Calder wake up after their impromptu long rest?
So, Echo and Calder. Let's start with Echo. Tell me something unusual or something that happens or something that Echo thinks about as he is coming to with just the mother of all magic headaches.
I think there might have been, because he communicates with Tamora in dreams. He sees visions of her. That's how he communicates with his goddess in the dreams. And usually he's in a field of clovers and she's there, you know, in what other form, either a golden woman or just a symbol. So I think he has a dream, but everything's super fucking fuzzy and he doesn't understand why he doesn't feel connected to it as he usually does. And as he's waking up, he like kind of unconsciously reaches for the medallion that was around his neck and remembers he gave it away. Just kind of goes, right, fuck.
And Calder, as he wakes up, first off, a quick reminder to folks at home that when Calder sleeps, he is more or less
a corpse?
More or less a corpse, yeah. It's very difficult to tell the difference between him and a corpse. And so he's basically indistinguishable from dead. So what is the first thing that he does when he wakes up?
He immediately reaches for a specific pouch, verifies its contents, and breathes out a gentle sigh of relief that it's still there. Basically checking on the whistle.
So he still does have the whistle that animates corpses. Yeah. And Kreitha, you are, I mean, you probably, that was a long rest, so it's probable that you rested as well. Like, you weren't pushing exhaustion, but 8 hours of hard physical labor for someone who's not necessarily used to the work, you probably went to sleep as well.
I slept on Stinky.
And it was probably the best sleep you've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I feel good, y'all.
Yeah.
No hangover, no weird.
You wake up.
I got my Durgadin back. It's good.
Yeah, so you wake up and like you are walking on sunshine. You've got Durgadin, he's nestled in the back of your mind as he often is. And as you do so, as you wake up to this wonderful, glorious day in the Forge of Fury, you notice your two rather miserable companions kind of dragging themselves up into a seated position. Let's talk a little bit about what you all do.
Echo.
I will immediately go to Kreitha. Were we successful?
Yes, we are very successful, and she shows her new Durgadin. Is it currently as a crossbow? Yes. Or is it currently as a sword?
Mm-hmm. It is currently a crossbow.
So it would have morphed in, because I'm assuming what I forged was a sword.
Yeah, it was definitely a blade when it came out, but now it is the usual hand crossbow that you've been wielding for some time.
But prettier.
It is definitely prettier. And in fact, Jen,
then you have to explain that to him. That's what he just said.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what is different that is Kreitha's own sort of personal stamp on this crossbow?
So this crossbow now has frogs on it. And also, so it's a mix a dwarven design of frogs, because she tried to kind of do something that would make Durgadin happy to inhabit, but also be something that felt like really right to her. So it's like a mix of like some really nice dwarven Art Deco-ish frogs and like patterns and stuff. So there's like on the blade, when it was the blade, there was some really nice, intricate, like down the center patterning with Durgadin's name, and then some frogs, and also I think Kretha's name in there. And then because she's aware that that he's not going to inhabit this forever. And then you know, some really nice patterning up the leather and stuff. And now as it is morphed magically into the crossbow, that has changed to any of the metal bands having the detail work. And then there's actually carvings along the actual wood itself. And so it's suddenly more intricate in a different way than it was before.
I love it. I love it so much. So, as you all sort of come to, you notice a couple of things in succession. First off, you look around, and Thomas is no longer with you.
God, fucking Echo checks the corner if Galvin is still where they left him.
Galvin is still there. He was, I assume, not restrained in any way.
No. He seems a little catatonic.
He is still not, maybe either sitting or sleeping in the same spot that he was when you began work on the blade. So he's still in the same spot, although there is evidence that he's gotten up and moved around a little bit. There's still a lot of dust on the floor, so there are tracks around that show that he's been up, and he's at least been down to the river once or twice.
Okay.
So he hasn't just been sitting there the whole time.
Just 14 hours straight sitting in a corner. Not good for anyone.
That said, you do find a note on the ground in a very sort of conspicuous place that is sealed with just the most ostentatious wax seal.
Does it have a harp on it?
It definitely has a harp on it. And it says something along the lines of, I know, I didn't say a proper goodbye, but I hope you'll permit an old man a bit of mystery. I must report back to those who are higher than mine, or who are higher than myself. But I did ensure that wards were set around you, and that nothing would disturb your slumber.
Did the idiot just leave the cave?
Echo reads the letter, looks around. Are there any visible sigils or anything around us?
Are you throwing some detect magic around?
No, just looking physically.
Nope, there aren't any wards carved in the walls or anything.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Thomas took off. Back to
Thomas. Next time we talk to Thomas, we should tell him that to remind him that the first thing on our docket today is making a teleportation circle.
Oh,
geez. I thought you said there was probably one here and you just needed to find it.
Yes, I need to reactivate it.
Ah.
Can I not use the teleportation circle?
Well, I mean, I don't think Can you use a teleportation circle, Galder?
Yes.
Oh.
I could make one here, it just wouldn't last.
I don't want to teleport.
If there is one here, I could reactivate
right now, and I really don't want to vomit. It would be a good day if I didn't have to teleport anywhere. Just saying.
You don't have to use the teleportation circle. However, the army we intend to move in here probably needs to use it.
Oh, they're welcome to. I don't think they throw up nearly as much as I do.
I don't think anyone does, honestly. I've known you for not even half a year at this point, and I've seen a lot anyway.
Anyway, Durgadin, very happy that you have your new home. We'll talk about you repaying me later. And
speaking of which, I do know where the teleportation circle is. It is underneath a large rug in one of the main rooms, but be careful. If my memory serves,
it's an animated rug,
the rug bites.
Yes, it's an animated rug. I know the keyword.
We're talking about we're talking about the room. Okay.
Andrew
Yes.
was always one to hide things in plain sight. Putting it under a rug in one of the main rooms was a bit of a stroke of genius on his part.
Especially when the rug kills people.
Kills people who don't know the magic word.
So it's our and Echo kind of looks over at Galvin in the corner.
Oh yeah, I should probably put him on the map.
Just Echo he's like snoozing. Echo kind of speaks gently to Durgadin, who's just speaking from all around us in the forge still, right?
Yes. No. Durgadin is in the weapon now. He is speaking audibly. He is speaking audibly from the crossbow.
The weapon. Okay.
Are the iron golems still?
They're standing there.
Attention?
Yep,
Cool.
they look like very large and imposing statues. You said he was in the corner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Echo will ask Durgadin. So now that you're back in there, are these fucks gonna try to kill us again? These giant iron people?
Oh, no. So, good news, bad news. Good news. I can tell them to stop anyone from entering through that door. Bad news. While I'm not here, they will take that instruction literally. So as long as anyone who comes into this forge comes in the way we came in, everyone will be fine.
Up the waterfall.
Is it as binary as anyone and no one, or can you set a specific requirement?
I can set a specific requirement, but it must be an instruction that they will carry out. I cannot control them from afar. I must give them a set of instructions for them to obey while I'm away.
How about just all orcs?
Stop all orcs from coming through the door. Yeah.
That can be done, yes.
Okay.
Kretha, would you hold the weapon up to one of the forges? It doesn't matter which. Don't worry, you won't lose it this time.
Of course. And she brings over and holds it up.
And a bright,
holding it really tight.
a bright essence sort of begins to emanate from the crossbow and sort of waver itself into the forge. And as it does, all of the forges begin to brighten. And when all of the essence has passed from the crossbow into the forge and all of the forges are up at full light, the golems take one very quick motion with a salute, probably across their chest, with a loud clang, and then return back to their ready positions. And Durgadin is able to flow back into the weapon.
Pretty neat, I will say. You're getting better at this more and more. Practice make perfect, right?
Yes. I don't know why I'm out of breath because I don't have lungs, but I feel it anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, you don't have lungs, but you were alive with lungs. It's still in you. We all have.
It's just an association of sensation. You feel exhausted, but you don't have nerves anymore, so your mind is creating a sensation.
Oh yeah, how like people who like lose a foot, sometimes it still itches even though it's not there.
Phantom body syndrome. Very common among just corporate entities.
So, what is the next step?
Get to the teleportation circle.
Y'all should do that. I've actually got a thing that like Vic and I were working on. I'm gonna stay and do busy work to help her with real quick, and I kind of want to have a friendly face in the room when Galvin wakes up.
Hey, what do you know? Perfect timing. A gray and dark shadow in the corner begins to stir, and a pair of ashen eyes open.
Good morning.
Stands up. And he looks around like he doesn't quite know why he is where he is. Looks up at you all again, and like eyes go from one to the other to the other. Let me get an insight from everybody, and we do have a +2. And I'm going to go ahead and let you all take that +2. So go ahead and do a +2 to your insight. Thank you, Shweti. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Oh, come on!
That could have gone better. Glad I had that +2. Well,
so
no,
15 for me.
Yeah.
So 15. Yes.
12,
12, and it looks like a 15 for Echo, or no, that's something else. Okay, never mind. So, Calder, and only Calder, notices that when his eyes alight on Echo, for just a moment, he's terrified, and then he's back to normal. Just for a second, he's like, "Oh, he's still here," and then he's back to normal. He does not exhibit the same reaction to any of the rest of you.
But Echo doesn't clock this.
Echo does not clock this whatsoever.
Oh, no.
Which is really interesting because of all the people around, I would feel like Echo would be the one to clock that. But
Still rubbing sleep out of his eyes.
Echo is a wonderful person, but sometimes he's a little bit more wonderful than reality.
Well, Krita doesn't clock it either, so we got the same 12.
So he kind of trudges his way forward.
We should get going.
Yeah, you guys should go look for that thing.
All right. I know where it is.
I am going to go ahead and turn on free motion.
Could I have the map?
And I'm going to go ahead and share the map with everybody, which of course I did before. There must have been a glitch or something. Not true. I definitely forgot. There you go.
Hey.
Hey. Oh, okay, so we need to go north, up, and around. All right, so it's you and me, right?
As you enter the room above, just give me just one moment. When you enter the room above, first off, have you ever smelled rusted iron?
Yes.
Yes.
It's that times 1,000. There are corpses of rust monsters dotting the floor of this room, and have been for several hours now. It smells like you are breathing in rust.
Awesome, it smells like tetanus.
Basically.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
How do I clean this without getting
With a great deal of help.
Is army help? I guess.
Yes.
Let's go get them.
And
Stinky, stay in other room. Not good for your skin. They break their skin.
Do not eat the giant metal-eating bug.
No.
I was intending for Galvin to stay behind with Echo.
Okay.
Echo will be like, "Hey, good morning. Here's some rations. Do you have food of your own?"
Give me an immediate persuasion check.
Yeah.
Persuasion. Hey.
Persuasion.
Oh, come on.
Oh my god, this is not a good sign.
He flinches back visibly when you address him and sort of shakes his head, but then thinks about it and kind of reluctantly holds his hand out.
Echo, real quick, like breaks off a piece of like whatever jerky he was handing him and like puts it in his mouth before handing him the rest, just to kind of show of like, I'm not trying to poison you.
Taking off a piece of that.
He eats but not with relish, as it were. He doesn't seem to enjoy the food too terribly much, but he definitely chokes it down. And he kind of nods.
Are you good at identifying metal?
He shakes his head at you. What language are you speaking to him in?
Dwarven.
He shakes his head at you. He doesn't seem to understand what you're saying.
Fuck. God damn it, Merryweather, you're a fucking liar.
No.
Give me an insight check. Give me an insight check.
Am I the only one who can speak the language he understands right now?
Wow. You suspect that he might be pulling a he might be acting ignorant.
Might be
but
playing it up.
But you're not sure. You're like, okay, so Merryweather said that he could speak Dwarven,
or that he would be able to understand.
But he isn't. So, like, yes, simultaneously you have the two thoughts. Damn it, Merryweather, and maybe he's not as ignorant as he is pretending. Maybe. Both of those thoughts are warring in your mind at once, depending on just how reliable or unreliable you think Merryweather is and what you think of this dwarf.
Echo's just gonna grin and bear it. He's dealt with tourists who don't speak the common language before, so he's just gonna start gesturing a little wider, be like, "You and me, let's go. I have there's a thing. Follow me back into this other room. We're gonna help Vic with something."
When you open your arms to make a larger gesture, he flinches visibly again, but will fall into step behind you as you exit the room.
Cool. We can get back to that in a bit.
Okay. We have... Oh man, it's been a while since you've been to this place. This is the room as you enter to the north, where you met Andril for the first time as a restless ghost. And as you enter this specific room, Kreetha, you feel a few things at once. First off, you get a brief, almost instantaneous flash of those memories that you had before of the battle that destroyed this place, but it's not the long, lingering scene that you had in the past. It is just it's like a paper cut. It's instant and then it's over. And leaving you kind of gasping. Once that is over, you feel at home like you have never felt before. As you enter this room, after that jolt of pain, you feel like this is where I belong. This is my place. And you're not entirely sure whether that thought is coming from you, or Durgadin, or Andoril.
So is that rug still there? I forget exactly what happened to the rug. Did we, like, destroy the evil rug that was protecting things?
I believe you killed it enough to stop it being animated.
Okay, so
however,
now it is
as you enter the room, you note that the same carpet, and you know that carpet, you would know that carpet anywhere, it wrapped up stinky, is fully on the floor and looks completely undamaged.
I step around the carpet.
It does not mean you any harm. You carry me, you shall be safe.
Okay. Are you sure about that? This carpet is... Okay, but we need to move it because it's underneath the carpet, right?
Is that a thing you say out loud? Or was that telepathic?
I'm probably just saying that to Durgadin. Because Durgadin was talking to me, and I'm also kind of in the weird habit of talking to Durgadin in my head as well.
Then simply tell it to do so. What do you think the point of having an animated carpet is?
So Calder comes in, and I'm like, I look at Calder with a weird face, and then I look at the carpet. Roll aside, carpet.
What language are you speaking in?
Oh God. I would attempt to speak it in Dwarven.
Okay. It will roll up like a fruit roll up? No, it will roll up like a Swiss roll, something like that.
Here's like a carpet?
Like a carpet. Yes, perfect. It will roll up like a carpet. I know to watch for it now. I don't know why it's happening. It might be because I'm peeking the mic. That might be it. But anyway, so it rolls aside, and yes, underneath, in runes that are kind of weathered with age, and some of them kind of have bloodstains in them, and there are definitely some adjustments that need to be made, is a teleportation circle.
All right. Kreetha, do you think you can continue to command the carpet more than just roll up?
As far as I know, yes, it will listen to me now.
Then we should relocate it while we have control over it. And I don't want a bunch of soldiers to come in here and then try to move the rug aside.
That is a good point.
And I'm going to start circling the teleportation circle, figuring out its address, learning the runes, spending a couple minutes memorizing it.
Give me an Arcana check.
I strictly don't have to, rules as written.
Oh,
maybe get an extra thing. This
one, however, is busted. So I'm gonna charge the Arcana check anyway.
I will spend the sorcery point for that reroll because nope. That is an additional quantity of nope.
So you are, like you said, without the need of an Arcana check, you're able to figure out what its signature is. You also notice that there is something wrong with it, and that there are some runes that have either worn out over time or maybe are filled with dried blood and need to be cleaned out. Failing that Arcana check doesn't mean that you can't use it. It just means that you're going to have to spend probably about an hour digging out whatever's in there, or
I cast Prestidigitation to clean and then Mending to fix.
Beautiful. So you're able to, with a couple of spells, get the place reasonably cleaned out and the teleportation circle restored to functionality.
That will take a good several minutes. So
awesome. While that's happening,
by all means, let Kretha do stuff.
Kretha leans down and kind of tentatively but gently pets the edge of the rug and goes, "Okay, rug." Speaking again in Dwarven.
It is not. It is an object. It is not sentient. It has no mind.
Shut up, she says in common, and goes back to the rug and says, "Okay, do you speak in Dwarven, Jeff?"
I don't think Calder does know.
Your body language, though. Your body language.
But I know Kretha well enough to know when she's trying to adopt something.
Okay, Rug. I need you to go into storage for the time being. Can you find storage?
The rug, while still rolled up,
God, if it nods, I'm gonna lose.
Begins to hover off of the ground.
Oh, it doesn't snake.
No, it lifts off the ground.
I was expecting an inchworm.
Yes and no. It turns sort of horizontal in the air and will begin to kind of its way out of the room. Are you going to follow it, or are you just going to let it go? Stinky has remained in the forge area.
I'm probably going to follow it just a little bit to make sure that it's going where it's supposed to, even though I'll be honest, in theory, I actually should know where storage is.
Yes. And it will go towards the fourth door on the left here.
Okay.
Which you previously saw was just a room of looted stuff, right? There's nothing really in there except for splinters. But now there is a carpet rolled up and leaning on the wall.
And before I leave, I go, "Thank you. I will ask for your service again when we are ready for it."
It does not respond.
And then she just kind of walks out of the room. Oh, and then she comes back in and kind of tiptoes in because she didn't want to disturb Calder too much.
There's a lot of dust in the air. There's a lot of dust in the air. Like, Calder is cleaning things out and mending bits of runes as he does so. And in fact, I know it's a cantrip, but we haven't done a good old-fashioned spell description in a while. What does it look like as Calder is, cleaning off all of the gunk and fixing the runes that have worn out?
Well, I figure he's moving in a gentle. He's in the middle of the formation and is making a very gentle circle and concentrating, essentially just casting and then casting and then casting and then casting in like a second long in 6 second long intervals, as he is with one hand a black tendrils will emerge out from between the cracks and start piecing the stones back together, and in the other one blackness rises up out and just coats the thing and then withdraws, and all of the blood dried and grime is gone.
The world's most goth lawn or leaf blower. Yes,
pretty much.
So what is so and
somewhere
that's
in
and
the
then
somewhere in the shadow in the Shadowlands, a bunch of stuff just appears, and a random shade goes, "What the hell?"
and then at about this time, Echo and Galvin will emerge from the other room and be ready to go. So you now have yourself an active, usable teleportation circle.
Mm-hmm.
What is your next step?
We should teleport to. We should use it to teleport to link to the closest teleportation circle, and to establish that connection, and then inform Boulder Shorter to get to us immediately.
I believe.
So,
go ahead.
So what Ekka's doing, whether or not Galvin helps him with it, is he is going through that back cupboard where we shoved Kritha when she was unconscious.
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely full of like broken scrap pieces of metal of like attempts either from back when it was first made or from when the Dwargar were here earlier. Like it's just full of scrap metal and junk, right?
Yes.
He's taking that and putting just piles of it next to each of the forges, and he's gauging the volume for like how much would be needed to slag each one of these forges. And he's not putting it in, he's just setting them in piles right near each one of these forges, just setting up that in case.
I imagine you'll get at least one slightly annoyed glance from Vic as you are putting stuff directly in the way of the things she's trying to fix. But otherwise, yeah, no problem. You're able to pile up some metal next to some forges and get a kind of decent idea of volume and weight.
Echo just gives a thumbs up, points at it, says, for slagging, if we need to. Like, she's the one who told him about it. Yeah.
What else we got before we get moving?
Kritha finds herself feeling strangely put out as she realizes that this room that a large part of her feels is her room is suddenly going to become a highway for an army.
Yes, although it is also true, this has ever been a military encampment. The citadel inside the Stone Tooth has always been it was a thriving metropolis for a time. But yes, you're not wrong. It has also been yours alone to wander the halls for quite some time. Not yours, but Andril's.
Well, yeah, and the thing is these aren't Andril's feelings. The Andril's feelings are the feelings of this is my room.
Okay.
Kritha's feelings are this is my room, and now I'm going to have a highway going through it. Like she's just realizing that now as she looks at a thing that she really hates, which is a portal. Like she doesn't like portals.
She has not had good experiences with teleportation in the past.
So like it's both a room that she feels really at home at and a room that she absolutely does not like, which is kind of an interesting thing. I don't know whether if she stays, that is going to be a room she will sleep in or just turn into an office.
She's already thinking about, okay, this one will be the den.
She doesn't even realize she's thinking that, to be honest.
Throwing this out there for the purposes of the map, Andril's actual bedroom is the one next to it. The room with the carpet and the teleportation circle was not Andril's bedroom.
Okay, so this room right here that she can't go into.
That might be a retcon, but yes, that's the way we're going to go.
That's fine. Yeah, I just noticed that there was a bed, or is that a chest?
That, like I said, that might be a retcon, but that's the way we're going to go. It does not seem like a good idea for even the court wizard to have the teleportation circle in his own bedroom.
I had that thought. I was thinking about radiation and the family jewels and like a bunch of stuff. Like, as a player, I was thinking that. I'm like, why would you sleep in the same room as a teleportation?
Well, right. Anyway, because if someone came in, then they'd be in the middle of his bedroom and like, no, thank you, no. So, yeah.
I'm just saying that makes sense.
Maybe that was his kink.
That just makes kidnapping you stupidly easy.
That's true. Yes.
So
go ahead.
For, spell component reasons, could he, within all those piles of stuff, find a straight piece of iron?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Oh man, did not expect to hear about scavenging for spell components. That's normally not the flavor of this game, but we got it. Nice.